In recent years, Ipoh's popularity has been growing, especially with architecture, the cuisine that everybody knows about, but have content creators been telling the truth? Is it really this special little place with Concubine Lane and that little enclave of the historic area? What's really the bigger picture of Ipoh? Because when you come in, it's probably a little bit different to what you were first expecting. Let's go have a look at what's outside and inside of that old Ipoh area. So the first thing you're going to notice, it's not exactly that picture perfect scene. There's a lot of Old Town that's seen better days. There's parts that are just a little bit run down and you may not feel easy walking overnight. But that doesn't say Ipoh's not safe. And I'd have to say I've been walking around all week, especially overnight, and I find it a very safe city, especially as you go around those tourist areas. Some of the back streets can be a little bit dark, but overall I think it's one of the largest cities in Malaysia, and I think it's pretty safe. So this is on the new side of the river, and it's what's known as Mural Street or Mural Art Street. And on this, it's an older street, but there is a lot of murals on here. Some of them have been redone recently, others not so recently. But it's a good introduction to what's here before you get into the old area and the newer, bigger murals. As you get further down the street, keep walking down the street towards the old end of the town because you'll find the murals get bigger and more colourful as you go along this street. Some of them are quite impressive. A lot of them have references to Diwali, Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year's. But like Malaysia itself, there's a lot of different things here, of all religions, all people. I find it interesting how quickly I forget. I'm looking at murals, houses, places, but I forget this is actually a living area. You know, you start seeing people coming out, cooking, just doing the rubbish, daily life. And you go, that's right, I'm actually walking through a living city. It's not just murals. It's not just attractions. It's about the people. So as I was walking down the Art Street mural lane on the new end, I looked down another lane and I could see this big white building. So I thought I had to go down and have a look. I knew it was a mosque of some description. And I came across the Masjid Panglima, Kinta. Now it does say that it does free tours for visitors and tourists. So if you're in this area and that interests you, come down and have a look. I'm going to keep heading to the Old Town this morning because I'm on a bit of a time frame. I've got a tour to do. It's pretty impressive, the white colour with that blue on top. It really stands out in the city against the other older architecture down this end. Across the road also, I think there's something interesting. I might just go have a look. Perak Coffee Shop Shopkeepers Association. Might just have a quick squiz at that. Well, unfortunately it looked closed, but what I have found here is Pagi Pagi, just right next to the mosque, and it looks like it does great roti canai. So there's a food option if that's what you're into and you're down this end of town. Let's keep going. Let's go see what the Old Town's got. So as I've made my way back up onto the main road, I think it's Jalan, Sultan, Iskandar. I'll put the details below. I've come to the bridge that separates the new town and the old town. Now the way I see it so far, or from how I've looked overnight, the old town seems to be where you've got Concubine Lane and all of those museums and the older attractions, where I've found overnight the new town has more of the dining options, the street food and the cuisine. So there's two tales to this city. It does also look like if you come here in the next year, there's going to be a lot more on the old side. Some work here by the river, a new bridge. Looks like there's a few things happening in Ipoh. As you cross the main bridge in the centre of town, you do come across these buildings here that I've seen in a lot of content. This road gets pretty busy during a day. There's a lot of traffic that's actually coming through the centre of Ipoh. But overnight, you can probably get a good picture of this. And it stands directly across from the Ipoh Riverfront People's Park. That a lot of people come here for their white coffee, the traditional coffee of Ipoh, but I'm going to try that somewhere special later. As per usual, I don't really have a plan for walking around the Old Town. I think I'm just going to go street to street, lane to lane, and just see what pops out. See what's in them. I've heard that Concubine Lane is the big one, and then 2 and 3 are smaller market streets, but we'll see as we go. See what's in them, see if it's worth it. So one thing you will notice here in Ipoh, I'm here early July and it's still hot. I was thinking it's up near the Cameron Highlands, there's going to be a bit of a temperature drop. But yeah, most days I've been here, it's 36, feels like 44. And it hasn't been humid, it's been more of that dry heat. So it depends on what time of the year you're going to be here, but expect it still to be quite hot. So it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and I know when I get to the real Concubine Lanes, they're going to be packed with people, and it's going to be a little bit hard to talk. So I thought I'd give you the story of what the Concubine Lanes are. So if you've been doing your own research or you've seen a lot of other content that you've been exploring before you get here, you would have seen a lot of nice stories about how the Concubine Lanes were given as gifts, etc., etc. True story. Let's just gloss over all that. Yeah, it's a wealthy man that had 3 wives and gave each wife their own street so they could earn an income. The streets were full of prostitution, opium dens, gambling, you name it. Little streets like this back in their day. Lots of people going in and out of these little dens, doing their business in private. So it's a lot different than what you'll see today with umbrellas floating down and silk hanging everywhere, tea shops, food. The old place, it's had a makeover. But it's good for tourism, it's good for the town. There's a lot of investment coming in. A lot of these old buildings, like this lane here that I'm in, still hasn't had anything put in it. But you can see the potential, if this continues through Ipoh, the town it will become. So there you go, no planning. The street that I was just in, or the lane that I was just in, is actually Market Lane. Now Market Lane is known as Concubine 2. In it has a lot of murals, a few restaurants, pretty much known as Instagram Street against these murals. Let's have a walk down and see what's actually here. I can see the attraction on this part of Concubine Lane 2, Market Lane. It's the place where most people stop and get Instagrams against these 4 murals. Seems to be the biggest attraction on this part of the street. Apart from that, coffee shops, restaurants, cafes. I really don't know what's the best time to be here as well. I've been told come at 8, get it to yourself, 10 o'clock it's busy, by 4 o'clock most of it's over, but there are still places open later in the evening, just not everything. There's definitely lots of little quirky places here to come and have a nice coffee. But it is very much a place to sit back, get that selfie taken, bit of Instagram. Market Lane, I think it's the photography street. So of all the murals in Ipoh, this one here, it's probably the most photographed in the city. The cart, the mural, it's the one you've apparently got to get. Well, it is pretty spectacular. I've got to learn some poses. So as with all towns, I think when you're looking at the lanes and you've got the big 3 here, you need to sort of get back into the other streets as well and have a good look. Now this one here is the end of Concubine Lane, number 1, but go right to the ends of them because there's a lot more there than just the middle section. And you'll just find those little out of the way coffee spots that are pretty spectacular. I'll get out of your road. So, and a fair bit of Instagram. It is quite picturesque here, so I can see why so many people have got cameras out here. I think you've just got to always remember to keep your eyes open. Enjoy the moment, not just the photo. Okay, this is the busy part of Concubine Lane. I'm just going to do a walk and talk. It's not as bad as what it was the other night that I was here. I've seen a couple of days where it's just been packed with people. Looks like Tuesday morning seems pretty good. My personal, my opinion, reality, there's a lot of bric-a-brac, a lot of shops. It's nice to see, but you do sort of miss the buildings behind everything that's for sale. You're not really seeing the heritage stuff. So I think I'll come back overnight, see what it's like overnight, because during the day, not sure, I think I'm missing something. Now this is the Ho Yan Hor. It's a museum. It's a museum on Chinese medicine, herbal tea. The gentleman who it's all about discovered a remedy back in the day, saved the town a couple of times, made everybody healthy. This is the museum. That's my short story. I'm actually going to do the tour later in the week. So let's jump to the future and see what it's actually about, not my interpretation. The Yan Hor Herbal Museum, or Herbal Tea Museum, it's actually very interesting. It tells the story of the young man who started with herbal tea that's now grown into a pharmaceutical giant in Malaysia. It's interesting, 2 floors, donation for entry. But you do need to book ahead. To be honest, the museum's quite small. You can get around here quite easily and read everything in 30 minutes. So it's very good to combine it if you can book both around the same time with the Tin Museum next door. So if you just turn up unannounced, you'll see it's closed, it's all shut up. What you need to do is go online and book a time slot so you can come here and be in the tour group. I think it's about 20 to 30 people at once, and they're normally done in the morning, and I think there might be a couple of odd ones on a weekend in the afternoon. But go online, I'm going to leave it here in the links to the description. Book yourself in, it's a great tour.
These 2 workers here, we call them the prospectors. In fact, it should be more than 2, around 10 of them. Together, they will take the drill into the ground. Then I'll tell you how this system works. Look on my right side, we will pick over here. From the river, and now she's on her way to sell to all tea mall dealers. In a good day, she can. The founder of this club, Liang Hui, is here. His son, Leong Eng Kian. Look at this fearsome-looking guy. His name is Chong Keng Kui.
So this area here, this is where all the social activities happened, but in honesty, it's where people met, where the owners of the tin mines got together, discussed, had fun, gambled their money away, won their money. But level 1 was the floor to be on. But you did need to come and go from the back door. Smile, will you? If you come to Ipoh, there's lots of things you can do all around the old city and the new. But the thing I recommend, if you come, the first thing you should do is come to the Chin Pet Soo mining. It's the tin mining, I'm going to get this right, it's the Chin Pet Soo. If you come to the Chin Pet Soo, it's the Tin Mining Museum. Have a look around. It's got 3 floors of the history of Ipoh before it came the tourist attraction for the lanes and the food and all the other great things I'm expecting to see here. Let's go have a look at Ipoh. So I thought I'd start my Ipoh food journey in somewhere quite traditional. So I'm in Chien Thun, and I thought I'd try the Gai See Hor Fun, which the Hor Fun bit is the noodles. And also I'm going to try the egg custard and a lime juice. Gai See Hor Fun. Yeah. Very nice. So just chicken broth, prawn.
Chicken and prawn soup.
Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
A3一碗啦 ，A4 一碗啦。
我的桌子是 A4。
我知道一碗那是不是？
对。然后我要那个猪肉丸的。
猪肉丸要几粒？请问？
你给我8粒。
8粒猪肉丸啊。OK 好。
好，谢谢。
So I'm in Chien Thun and I've got Gai See Hor Fun, and the Hor Fun is actually this thin noodle. I'll zoom in on that one so you can see it. So it's a little bit different here. The Gai See Hor Fun, that noodle dish that I've got here, it comes from the restaurant next door, but the creme or the egg custard, it comes from here as the lime. So you pay 2 different ones, but you get that experience from both restaurants. Let's have a look at this. That's a really nice, smooth, thin noodle. And I think that's the big thing with the Hor Fun noodle. It's that silky smoothness that you get in those noodles. It's mixed with a chicken broth. And also I can see in there the main component, or the other main component, is some chicken and also you've got prawns in there. So it's a pretty hearty dish. Have a look at that for silky smooth. That's really good, and just look at those noodles. And as you can hear and see people cutting through, it's actually quite busy here. This is right next to Concubine Lane 1. Try one of these prawns. Oh, that's a nice, really taste that saltiness and that seafood taste in that prawn. That one hasn't been sitting around, that's a fresh prawn. All in all, that is a really good broth. I'm just going to put that aside for a little while. There is also some chilli that came with that, but I don't need that right yet. I will put that in later. Just have a bit of this lime. Okay, Chien Fun, the main thing you come here for, is the dessert. So I'm going to have a bit of a go at that. Oh, that's nice and silky. Oh, that is sweet. There's a palm sugar, there's that syrup that comes with it, there's like a palm sugar taste in there. That really makes that dish. And that is nice, smooth, exactly how egg custard should be. I definitely recommend coming here. The egg custard was 8 ringgit, and also the main meal was 8 ringgit. So 16 ringgit for all of this, that was including the drink. So Hor Fun, or Gai See Hor Fun, that's a great start to food in Ipoh, and also this egg custard. Good combination. Let's get on to the next place. Now the third Concubine Lane, it's like the third child. It's the one no one really talks about. It does have a mural, but this is pretty much it. This is Hale Lane, this is Concubine 3. I somehow feel I may have that wrong, so if I'm in the wrong place, leave a comment and I'll go have a look at that. Okay, stop commenting. A little bit further, I did find, I think it was about two lanes down, there was another sign that said Hale Lane, and there's a little bit more here. It's still not as big as the other 2 lanes, but if you're here, it's worth a walk through. There's still some interesting stuff to see in here, a couple of murals, some nice buildings. But out of the 3, yeah, if they were given to mistresses, Concubine Lane, Hale Lane, Wife Lane, she must have been the 3rd one. Well, to be honest, coming from Malacca, yeah, there's some nice murals here. I like this stuff that's interactive and, you know, is set into the wall that's part of the mural. Malacca had some really good murals, and the waterfront there, yeah, if I had to pick between 2, I'd probably be in Malacca, but they're 2 completely different things. The food style in Malacca compared to Ipoh, completely different again. I think if you're doing a trip up that west coast of Malaysia, do Malacca, KL, and then definitely do Ipoh if you're going to do the Cameron Highlands before you get to Georgetown and Penang. Speaking of Georgetown or Penang, that's where we're off to next. That's coming in the next couple of weeks. And I believe the murals and the street art there is off the charts. So can't wait to get there and see what it's like compared to the art here. But definitely I'd put Ipoh on a list of things to see if you're coming up the west coast. 2 hours from KL, hour 40 from Georgetown, easy to get to on the fast train.